We are going to start from introduction of retouching tools in Photoshop, and the reason for that is because we will be using them all the time for many different tasks, often connecting with other techniques. And all of the tools in Photoshop are located here on the left hand side. And the retouching tool that you will use the most will be healing brush tool or optional spot healing brush tool. Some other will be patch tool, and except that also we will have clone stamp tool. So we could distinguish this into three categories: healing brush tool, patch tool, and clone stamp tool. In this lesson, I'm going to start from the introduction of healing brush tool and spot healing brush tool. So I'm choosing this at first, and healing brush tool is best to use on an empty layer because we always want to work non-destructively in Photoshop, so you don't want to start working on this layer that we have here and change it, because if we do mistake and we miss it, instead of doing step back straight away, then it will be much more difficult. So you always want to have some safety landing. That's why when you work with this tool, you should always create a new layer. And when you work on this new layer, you can rename this into clean, for example. If you double hit, you can change the names, and then you work above your image. Once you do it, you have to set few things. First of all, as the sample, you want to work as current and below. It means you work on the current layer, which is this empty layer, and below, also affecting background layer. If you will work on the background layer, of course, you will want to have checked current layer or current below, and then you still will be affecting the other layers. In some other cases, you might want to work on current layer. And if you work with all layers and you have some layers above with different color effect, you will be affecting all of these layers. So we start with current below, and when I clean the skin, what's important for me is to keep hardness of the brush at 100, because I don't want to mess up the texture. So I keep it 100 to be very precise. And then you can choose the J on your keyboard to switch to healing brush if it's not there. And it's perfect tool for removing such a small spots as you can see right now. So what I'm doing, once I locate the spot I want to remove, for example, let's say I want to remove this spot here and this here. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to place it next to the spot, placing my cursor next to the spot. Then I'm going to press Alt or Option on the keyboard and it changed to this cross. I'm going to hit next to it and then cover the spot and place it. Once again, I'm going next to this spot. I'm going to press Alt or Option next to it. Then release and cover the spot, paint on it, and it's covered. Also, when we have hair like this, you want to remove, you just hit next to it and go all the way down, covering it. So you don't have to press straight away, you can paint with it, but of course it's good to be careful. And also, once you get used to it, as you can see, you can work very fast covering all of the different spots. So going down, we have some more of them. We have some lines here, and as you can see, this is the perfect way to clean up the image. And this is also the way how I clean most of my images, and it's going rather fast. I would say 5 to 10 minutes. If you get used to fast working. And now let's switch to another tool which is very similar, and it's spot healing brush tool. So what was happening with the previous tool, because it needs to be explained. Once we work with it, and when we locate in the area next to the spot and pressing Alt or Option, what is happening, we take the sample of the texture which is there and then covering it, and once we cover it, the texture that we copied, the sample we took, is replaced, and the color around the spot is adjusted to color that is surrounding the spot. So I'm copying the texture, covering the texture, and the color is adjusted from the color surrounding the spot. In the case of spot healing brush tool, it's very similar, though we just need to cover the spot. We don't need to press anything, so you have more spots, and it works perfect for small spots if you want to clean it fast. So as you can see, I'm not pressing anything here. I'm just covering the spots, and the small spots are disappearing. So what is happening? In this case, the texture and the color is adjusted from the color surrounding the spots, and Adobe tried to locate the best color and texture to cover the spot. So we have spot here, we just cover it with our cursor, and the color and texture in here is adjusted from some other location. This is how spot healing brush tool works, and it's much faster in use. It can be better in some cases when we have many very small spots and we don't have time to press outer option all the time. Though in most of the cases I use just healing brush tool. I got used to, I do it fast, so it's not big difference for me. And also when it comes to spot healing brush tool, it offers you a little bit more precise results. So in this case, when we have many small spots, it's rather okay, but sometimes you might need to be a little bit more precise. So this is how healing brush tool and spot healing brush tool work.